we're about to kick it off. All right, come on in. Come on in. Welcome everyone to tonight's NUMMI Technology Call with NUMMI's founder, Stephen K. Scott. I can't wait to listen to the I guess the man behind the technology. He was presented with a vision a few years ago and took it to fruition, and now we have just an amazing product and technology, and we get to hear from Stephen K. Scott personally on that technology and how it's really helping people across the entire globe. So until then, we actually have about 60 seconds, y'all, to go ahead and continue inviting your family, your friends, people you may have talked to in the recent past. Let them know, get them on board, give them nummi.tv and get them invited because we're about to kick this one off. All right, welcome once again to tonight's call. It is going to be in English, and so for our non-English speaking NUMMI family, we do have captions enabled, so take a listen.
Untuk mengaktifkan terjemahan bahasa Indonesia, silakan klik caption di panel laptop atau handphone Anda semua.
Para poder obtener la traducción en español, es necesario hacer clic en el menú de Zoom y elegir la opción subtítulos en español.
大家好，如果你想看字幕，请按屏幕底下的 CC 按钮，选择中文。此功能仅适用于直播。
Bonjour, bienvenue à cet événement NUMMI. Vous pouvez activer les sous-titres dans votre langue en cliquant sur sous-titres au bas de l'écran. Veuillez noter que cette option fonctionne uniquement dans la salle Zoom en direct. Merci et bonne écoute.
大家好，如果你想看字幕，請按屏幕底下嘅 CC 按鈕選擇中文。呢個功能淨係適用於直播。
All right, all right. Help me welcome your MC for tonight's call, NUMMI Diamond, Christy Price. Christy?
Hi, everyone. I see people logging in from everywhere. This is awesome. I'm super excited to welcome Steve tonight. I've got to know Steve really well over the last few months, and I'm just ecstatic for everything that's going to be moving forward. Go ahead, Steve, and let everybody know about this wonderful technology.
Okay. Well, it's good to see everybody. There we go. And how are you? Thank you for waving hi. And my friends from all over the world. It is amazing. We're now in 76. Oops. We're in 76 countries at last count. And just a lot of wonderful things going on. Let's see, I've got to confirm my language is not Indonesia. My language is English. Oh, how I wish I could speak every language that's represented on this call. We could do a different language every week. And if we did a different language every week, we would still have an additional 10 or 15 weeks after a year to keep going to get every language that we represent now. So it's pretty cool. Ryan and I had a chance to go to, let's see, where did we go? We went to France. A month ago, we went to France. Then we went from France to Hungary. And they were both amazing group of people, amazing meetings. Hungary was pretty big group. It was probably between 800 and 1,000. We then went to Amsterdam to meet with our leaders there that we're so grateful for, and they're such wonderful parts of our NUMMI family. After that, we came home. While we were doing that, Sergio, who is our vice president of sales, went to Spain, and then he met up with us in Hungary. No, Amsterdam. He met up with us in Amsterdam. And of course, Aaron's always traveling to all different places, our CEO. But it was wonderful. We have a diamond retreat coming up. We hold a retreat each year for those people who achieve the rank of diamond, and they get to go to nice places, different parts of the world on us. And this year it's a cruise. So we'll be leaving on that cruise. I actually fly to Florida on Sunday, and the cruise is Monday through Friday. So that's going to be a fun time with our diamonds. Before I get started, I'm going to tell you about a break. For those of you that are new to this call, we'll be talking about our hydrostat breakthrough. And hydrostat is a way of encapsulating molecules that make those critical nutrients and molecules not only more bioavailable, but more quickly and immediately utilized by the cells. And so we'll be talking about that in a minute. Something that I just got a report on today. For those of you that don't know right now, we're finding totally divorced from us. We've had nothing to do with paying for this or anything, but there was a very significant 6-month clinical study on horses that are on our product. And these are athletic horses that are competing against each other. And they found some amazing, miraculous outcomes that we don't have the ability or the right to share right now. But I did get permission to share this one. Oxidative stress is our mortal enemy. It's our mortal enemy for every mammal, for humans, dogs, cats, horses. And oxidative stress is our enemy for a number of reasons. Number one, it accelerates cell growth, cell death. So do you want your brain cells, heart cells, liver cells to die prematurely? Do you want them to age more rapidly? Well, that's what oxidative stress causes. It accelerates aging of those cells, tissues, organs, and it accelerates cell death. It also creates inflammation. And inflammation is also our mortal enemy. Inflammation is the opens the gateway in people to more than 78 disease states, all the ones you're afraid of. In fact, Dr. Mehmet Oz, the famous Harvard heart surgeon who had his own television show for many years, made this statement quite a few years ago in relation to glutathione, which is what we'll be talking about tonight, which is one of the critical molecules that we use our hydrostat delivery system with. He said, glutathione, it's the most important antioxidant you've never heard of. It's what protects you from the diseases you fear the most. And then he did a whole half-hour show on glutathione and how low glutathione literally opens the gateway to all these disease states. And his guest for that show was a guy named Dr. David Katz, who at the time was head of disease prevention at Yale University. Yale and Harvard are certainly two of the top 5 medical schools in the world. And they talked about this molecule most people haven't heard of. I first heard of glutathione in 2006 from a doctor with the Mayo Clinic, and he challenged me to really look into the literature, the scientific literature, and get to know a little bit about it. And he gave me some clinical studies, and they blew me away. In fact, I was so blown away, it changed the whole direction of my life, and my life didn't need to be changed. At the time, I was having a very successful career. We would find breakthroughs, technology breakthroughs, and we'd find breakthroughs, buy the rights, put them on TV, and our sales had hit billions of dollars. And the partners, which was me and 5 other people, we were each taking home millions of dollars a year. That's how successful the business was. Plus, I was in business with my favorite people in the world. Plus, I was doing the most fun job ever done. I was getting to write, direct, and produce television shows with world-renowned celebrities, people like Charlton Heston, Tom Selleck, Michael Landon, few people that were celebrated then that were kind of, I won't say, if you can't say something nice, don't say it. But people like Cher, Jane Fonda, Richard Simmons, just a lot of different people. And God really blessed our business. We started with $5,000. And by the time I retired, we had done many billions of dollars in sales. And so who wants to shift away from that? You've got the most fun job in the world. You're working with people that are closer to you than your brothers and sisters almost. And you're making a lot of money doing it. And it was funny because we were never about chasing money. We would see a breakthrough. And what is a breakthrough? A breakthrough is a product or a service that can do something that nothing else in the world can do as effectively or efficiently. For example, we had a product called Deal-A-Meal, which was a way people could lose weight without counting calories, carbs. It was as simple as moving cards from one side of a wallet to another. And we had millions of people on Deal-A-Meal. We had tens of thousands of people lose a lot of weight. In fact, one guy set the Guinness Book of Records. He lost 715 pounds and his wife lost 300 pounds. That's a breakthrough. We had another breakthrough called Where There's a Will, There's an A, that taught kids the right way to study, the right way to learn, and could turn a D student into an A student literally overnight. Did it with my daughter. My daughter was in high school at the time, one of my daughters, and she had a I think she had a 1.96 grade point average or something like that. And she went to a 3.4 in 1 quarter, watching a video series for 3 hours. That's all it took. And it turned out to become the study skills program for universities and all sorts of things. That's a breakthrough. Well, I learned about this breakthrough called glutathione and the delivery of glutathione. It's the most important molecule in life. And it performs over 400 functions, just as important as oxygen. Without oxygen, you die within a couple minutes, a few minutes, unless you're a pearl diver, then you can go 7 to 10 minutes. But that's about it without oxygen. Without glutathione, you live 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. Glutathione, unlike oxygen, performs over 400 functions that affect every aspect of your life, including accelerated aging and the accelerated aging of the cells, the tissues, the organs, the muscles, the joints. So simple question, do you want to age faster or slower? Do you want your brain to grow older faster or slower? Your heart, how about your kidneys, your pancreas, your liver, your prostate, men? No, we want to slow down the aging process. Our eyes, our ears, everything. And believe it or not, low glutathione levels accelerate aging. And most people have low glutathione levels, not a few, most. And so I went ahead and it literally changed the course of my life. I met the doctor from the Mayo Clinic in 2006. In 2007, I wrote a check for over $1 million. And started a company to promote his breakthrough, which was this big in glutathione, but that big was bigger than anybody else had. And then I bought 2 patents from University of Minnesota, and they represented even bigger breakthroughs in glutathione enhancement, helping the body to produce and utilize more glutathione. And they were great breakthroughs. Oh my gosh, just on one, there were 25 peer-reviewed studies over a 25-year period. Amazing. And then in 2018, a different company that I had started called Biotech Nutritional Sciences, we found a new delivery method called Hydrostat, and compared to the other breakthroughs in glutathione enhancement were as big a breakthrough as an atom bomb is over a hand grenade. Okay. Would you rather have a hand grenade come within 100 feet of you or an atomic bomb? Atomic bomb does a lot more damage. Well, take that same energy and put it into a power plant, and now you light a whole city. So breakthroughs, they're wonderful. And that was my whole life for 35 years, was finding breakthroughs. Well, our mortal enemy is oxidative stress. And today I got some numbers, and it shows, I did a study using artificial intelligence, using ChatGPT, and said, is there any antioxidant that can make about a 20% reduction in oxidative stress? And they said, that's a high thing, but they can over time. Repeated use over days, weeks, months. But it's pretty hard to see something like that any faster than without, with a single use, it's basically impossible. Well, this study, by giving horses the same dosage that a human being, now think about it, a horse weighs 1,000 pounds more than I do. And yet it gets the same dosage that I get. Now, you'd think that kind of dosage would be so small for a horse, it wouldn't make any difference. Guess what it did? They measured blood markers, same blood markers that are used to measure oxidative stress in humans. And it reduced, depending on the age of the horse and how good a shape it was in, after heavy exercise or an event, it reduced it by 12 to 19%. Guess in how long? 2 to 4 minutes. 2 to 4 minutes to reduce oxidative stress. Now, that's not only a breakthrough for horses, that's a breakthrough for anybody that uses the product. And when I mentioned this, we have a doctor in Spain, and he's one of the most well-known sports medicine doctors in Europe. He has 19 clinics in Europe, throughout Europe, and their client list is primarily professional athletes and world-class amateur athletes. For example, one of their clients is the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Another one of their clients, two of their clients took second and third in the World Marathon Championships last year. They work with very elite athletes. I told him about this, and in his, I wish I could speak Spanish as well as he speaks English, but with his Spanish accent, he said, Steve, I told you that's what I'm seeing with athletes. Like, why are you surprised? I guess I wasn't listening. I'm sorry. And, I'm the highest ADD ever measured by University of Utah. In fact, they say I might be the highest in the world because one of my brain waves didn't even register in the machine. So I guess I didn't remember that. But anyway, so we're seeing these amazing things happen. And so what I want to do now is tell you a little bit about glutathione, tell you what the problem is. I'll tell you what the problem is first, then I'll tell you how we impact the problem. And then we will show you some photographs that demonstrate what we have and what a breakthrough. One of our scientists, for those of you that don't know, you should write this down. Numi, you can search this. NEUMI, N-E-U-M-I, Medical Advisory Board. And you search that on Google, and it will bring up these pictures of doctors from Stanford, from University of Southern California, from Harvard, Texas Heart Institute, and on and on and on. And you'll see these doctors, and you'd think, man, we must be paying out millions of dollars to have these kinds of scientists and renowned doctors on our medical board. We don't pay them a penny. They enthusiastically embrace and even recommend our products because they've all seen its results. They've all seen its results. Most of them have seen it personally by using the product, and really quantitatively by giving or selling or using the product with their clients. So, but that's NEUMI Medical Advisory Board. You can look that up. Here's a couple more you can search out. NEUMI Weightlifter. And you'll hear about him in a few minutes. NEUMI Weightlifter. Now, we had a 26-year-old just a few weeks ago break 2 world records on our product as she won the world championship in her category in weightlifting. It's amazing what people are seeing. So what is glutathione? Glutathione is a tripeptide. That means it's 3 amino acids in one long chain molecule. Those amino acids are L-cysteine, glycine, and glutamic acid. And the last two, glycine and glutamic acid, we have an abundant source in our diet. So that's not what the body lacks. Glutathione is made by every cell in your body, your eye cells, ear cells, brain cells, heart cells, liver cells. In fact, liver cells make 1,000 times more glutathione per cell than any other cell in the body, because the liver uses glutathione to detoxify itself. You know, your liver is a landfill. It's a waste dump. It collects all these wastes, and now it's got to get rid of them or you'll die of liver disease. What does it use to get rid of all those toxins? It uses glutathione. And so glutathione, what are some of the things it does? Well, number one, it is an detoxifier. We'll start there since I just mentioned it. It has a real sticky sulfhydryl molecule. It's actually part of the cysteine peptide, has a sticky sulfur molecule that sticks to those chemical toxins and takes them out of the cell. It is your body's detoxifier. It's your cellular detoxifier. Right now, everybody on this phone call has at least 200 industrial chemicals in your cells that don't belong there. You got to get them out. And guess what? Glutathione is the way. So hooray for glutathione. That's just one thing it does. It's also the chelator of the cell. What does that mean? That means it sticks to, it chelates heavy metals. We had one man that I knew who's world-renowned. He wrote a book that sold over 100 million copies, co-authored it, and he was dying. Harvard Medical School had, doctors at Harvard had diagnosed him with mercury poisoning, and they tried to chelate that and get that out of his body, and nothing was seeming to work. He tried one of my products, not this product we're talking about now, but the very first product from the Mayo Clinic guy. And do you know, in 30 days, he started feeling better. In 60 days, he felt like a new man. He goes into his doctors at Harvard, and the mercury is all gone. And they had given him 6 months to live. And he's still alive today. That was clear back in about 2009. Or 10. And so glutathione is a chelator of heavy metals. Great. What else does it do? It is the protector of your immune system. Now think about this. Your immune system is designed to protect you from bacterial and viral insults or assaults, but it's insults is the actual word. So take any virus or bacteria, you get it into your body. Now your immune system goes crazy. It says, oh, we got something in here we got to try to kill. Literally, they got to try to kill. And its primary assassin that targets that bacteria or virus are T cells, has a secondary assassin group called B cells. And they target that bacteria or virus and they try to kill it as fast as they can. The problem is the bacteria or virus is reproducing at a very fast rate. And if you have low glutathione levels, your T cells and B cells reproduce slowly while the bacteria or virus is reproducing rapidly. Not good news. If you can raise your glutathione levels, then your T cells and B cells reproduce at a much more rapid rate, and they can target that bacteria or virus and kill it in time to not only make you better, faster, but in some cases, even save your life. There was one article that followed the pandemic. It was published in May of 2020 in the Journal of Infectious Diseases. Title of the article was Low Levels of Endogenous Glutathione as the Cause of Severe Symptoms and Death in COVID-19 Patients. And it was done by a Russian medical scientist. It's now been validated even further by other studies. And basically, people that got very sick from COVID and died had low glutathione levels. And by and large, people with higher glutathione levels, they may have gotten sick, but they didn't usually die. And he proves that point in this article. It's a brilliant article. It was in the American Journal of Infectious Diseases, which is a publication of the American Chemical Society. So glutathione is the protector of your immune system. Your immune system protects you. If you raise your glutathione levels, your T cells can reproduce much more rapidly and increase your chances of surviving and even getting better faster. So do you want to get better faster or slower? I want to do faster. And so glutathione is key to that. Glutathione is best known for being the master antioxidant. Now let's talk about antioxidants for a minute. Oh, my wife's cell phone is ringing in the background and she is not in here. So it's going to keep ringing for a few seconds. And it's distracted this ADD person. Every cell in your body, and who's ever operating the slides, every cell in your body is attacked by 10 to 20,000 free radicals a day. And while he's bringing up this slide, wow, Keith, now that's what our cells look like. That's a great magnification of a cell, but you have to go even deeper than that to see things like DNA, and it's not that big of a matter. But that's how complex the cell is. Okay, this is 20,000 people in an arena. That's how many free radicals attack every cell in your body every day. And a free radical, now if we wanted to see how many attack in 5 days, we go to the next slide and look at this picture. That's 100,000 people. That many free radicals attack every cell in your body every 5 days. Per cell, heart cell, brain cell, eye cell, ear cells, all of that. Okay, if we could come back to me for a minute. And so you're attacked by those free radicals. A free radical is a scavenger. It's a thief. It wants to steal an electron from the cell. When it steals that electron from the cell, it creates oxidative stress that we started talking about even earlier. That oxidative stress is our mortal enemy that accelerates cell death, cellular aging, and produces inflammation in the cell. So the cell can't function as efficiently or effectively. Any cell in your body is damaged by free radicals. So now to counter that, your body actually makes a beautiful antioxidant that's called the master antioxidant. It's made by every cell in your body, called glutathione, okay? Glutathione is your master antioxidant. It is 1,000,000 times more powerful than all the other antioxidants combined: vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin E, CoQ10, superoxide dismutase, catalase. Put them all together, and glutathione's 1,000,000 times stronger or more effective. In fact, there's a spectrum of types of free radicals, and all antioxidants except glutathione are monofocus. So they have different sources: oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen. They have different chemical compositions, and they have different structures. Now, all antioxidants, including the two great ones, vitamin C and vitamin E, that are two of the best, they each can only take out one. So vitamin E can take out that free radical, but it leaves all these bad guys. Vitamin C takes out that one, leaves all of these bad guys. CoQ10, superoxide dismutase, catalase, and so on. Glutathione is called the master antioxidant because it's not monofocused, and it can sequester and neutralize all types of antioxidants, regardless of their structure, source, or chemical composition. Today, we face free radicals that our grandparents didn't have to face. One that I talk about each week is peroxynitrite, not nitrate, nitrite. It's produced when those cell towers, microwaves from the 5G towers, enter your body, and you don't have to have your phone up to your ear to do that. You can get them directly from the cell towers. And when that happens, they interact with the nitrogen in your body and produce peroxynitrite. Peroxynitrite lives 1 billion times longer than any oxygen-based free radical. And most of free radicals are oxygen-based. And so this bad boy lives 1 billion times longer. It lives so long it can transfer from one cell to the other cell, to another cell. Guess what it does? It attacks your mitochondrial DNA. Why is that bad? Because as long as the DNA remains intact, the cell can't mutate. But when the mitochondrial DNA is broken, the cell is now at risk for mutating and multiplying. Cancer. Well, so this particular one focuses on breaking that mitochondrial DNA, but that's not the primary risk toward mitochondrial DNA. We talked a few minutes ago about the chemical toxins. The chemical load in the cell is what usually breaks the mitochondrial DNA. So according to Dr. Dean Jones of Emory University, a brilliant microbiologist, if we raise glutathione levels in the cell, we lower the chemical load and prolong the integrity of the mitochondrial DNA. But without lowering it, that's what usually breaks the mitochondrial DNA. Cancer rates are zooming upward right now in the United States. Now they're finding that young people under the age of 25, or actually under the age of 40, are now aging at a more rapid rate than their parents aged. Their cancer rates are 17% higher, and their risk of cardiovascular disease and cardiovascular events like infarction, mitochondrial infarction, heart attacks, and so on, has gone way up. All of that's going up. Why? Free radicals from these little buggers, free radicals from the chemicals we ingest, we breathe, and there's no way around it. There's no way around it. You have plastic in your house. Yeah. You have varnish on the wood. Yeah. You have paint. Yes. You name it. All these things put out chemical toxins that you bring into your body through the air you breathe, what you touch. When you touch a computer, don't go rush out and put on gloves. It makes it hard to type. There's one particular chemical that's used. Its only purpose in life is to, it's used with circuit boards in computers and these guys, and it disperses and absorbs the heat. So the reason your computer board keys aren't hot is this one chemical. That's all it does. And it's very toxic. Guess what? Not only do you have it right now, but they tested 2,000 umbilical cords of newly delivered babies, and they found that chemical present in every umbilical cord. So yeah, we have a problem with chemicals. We're not going to solve it. There's over 85,000 chemicals, industrial chemicals that are currently in use. Who knows how many we have? When I say they found 2017 in these babies, or 217 in these babies, that's all they tested for. They didn't test for 300, they tested for 217. And they found everyone had every one of these chemicals, just like every adult they tested. Okay, so glutathione is a detoxifier. It has that sticky sulfhydryl molecule that detoxifies the cells. Once again, we want to preserve that mitochondrial DNA. Well, if a free radical creates oxidative stress by pulling that electron out of the cell, how does an antioxidant work? An antioxidant donates its own electron to the free radical, and when that does that, it sequesters it, captures it, and neutralizes it. So it protects the cell by neutralizing or sequestering, which is the right scientific term. I was corrected by a scientist, I don't know, 15 years ago, because I would say neutralize. Oh, please don't use the word neutralize, use the word sequesters. I said, well, sequesters captures, right? He says, yeah, that's a synonym. And I said, well, if it's captured, can it do damage? No. So I said, in effect, it's neutralizing. Well, in effect, but we prefer you use the word. So now I try to use the right words or they get mad at me. But glutathione does all that. Now, what does it mean to you and me? Well, first of all, realize that your glutathione levels as a whole started declining at the age of 20. And they decline at the rate of 8 to 15% per decade. So I'm 76. So I've got less than 45% of the glutathione in my body now that I had at the age of 20. Well, the attack never goes down. My cells were attacked 20,000 times a day then, or 10 to 20,000 times, and now they're the same thing by free radicals. They were filled with chemical toxins then, they're filled with chemical toxins. I mean, it goes on and on. And so the attacks are there. And remember, the attack uses up available glutathione. Now, when you exercise, there's good news and bad news to exercise. And the good news is a lot outweighs the bad news. When you exercise, you produce an abundance of oxidative stress. So you're producing at this level, you exercise, now you produce this much. Well, guess what? Your glutathione now has to bring that back down, and it does. But while it's bringing that down, it can't do other functions. So it brings it down, but during a period of time, during and following the exercise, you're at a lower level. And how many times have you heard people, man, I got a cold, I don't know where it came from. Do you work out? Yeah, I go to the gym 3 times a week. When did you go to the gym last? 2 days ago. Well, it usually takes 24 to 48 hours for the cold virus to become symptomatic. So you probably got it there. Why did you catch it there? Not just because it was present, but because your glutathione levels dipped. And glutathione, once again, targets viral and bacterial assaults. So what have we done? Well, first question is, why don't we all go buy glutathione capsules? You can buy them at any health food store. I was at a health food store today to buy some alpha lipoic acid, and which really helps you lose weight, by the way, when you want to lose weight. Alpha lipoic acid is really cool. And so I went to the store, and you could buy liposomal glutathione there Problem is when it hits the stomach, glutathione is real fragile. It hits the stomach and it breaks. And your cell won't accept a broken molecule, so none of it absorbs into the cell. Now, when you surround that molecule with a fat, which is called a lipid or liposomal glutathione, some will survive the stomach and some won't, but it increases the size of the cell from that to that. Well, that doesn't absorb in most cells. Too big. That does. So not that good of an answer in my opinion, or in the opinion of many scientists. Now, why don't we go get IV glutathione? Well, IV glutathione was good at cost. To get a true IV, forget the injections, but to get a true IV glutathione, $200 to $300 per infusion. And problem is, once it gets in your cells, which takes about 30 minutes with an IV. Why? Well, your blood breaks it down into its 3 amino acids and deposits those amino acids into the cytoplasm of the cell. Then the cell has to reconstruct it. Well, that takes time. But once you've got the reconstructed glutathione, the half-life of the glutathione averages 90 minutes. Now, some cells, it's only 10 minutes. Other cells, it's 4 hours. But overall, the body average is 90 minutes. And so you get about, from an IV, you get about a 6-hour bang for the buck, with a tail that can last anywhere from 20 hours to 30 hours. Okay, but that tail, remember, half, and now that tail is down here. Better than nothing. But we had one surgeon in Miami, Florida, a plastic surgeon, and he was performing surgeries 14 hours a day, 5 days a week. And he was on 3 glutathione IVs a week, $900 a week for years. He needed it. Why? To maintain his mental focus. God bless you, Keith. His mental focus, and to maintain his physical stamina. Well, he heard about our product, thought I'll give it a try because that's $300 per serving or per dosage of an IV. Here you're talking under $2 per dosage. So he said, let's give it a try. He thought he would see a big dip in mental focus, in physical stamina. To the contrary, his physical stamina went up and his mental focus went up. And anytime during his 14-hour day of surgery that they started to wane, he could swish. That's how you get it into your body, by the way. And instantly it comes back. So he was blown away, and he called us, said, would you come out if I have a bunch of surgeons come to my office? I said, sure. I got there and he had 42 surgeons after hours in his office. Well, he gave his testimony and I didn't need to be there after that. Then his wife gave her testimony as the office manager. Unbelievable. And his head nurse, who she gave her testimony, and it was like lights out. Well, and then I told scientifically what I tell you guys, how it works. So anyway, glutathione is the sole protector of the immune system. It's the primary detoxifier of the cells and of your body and of your liver. It is the protector of your immune system. It is the master antioxidant. What else does it do? And we'll close this part of it with this, and we'll look at some pictures. Without glutathione, there'd be no oxygen transfer. Those beautiful red blood cells that you have, when they're produced, they have iron in them. And iron can carry a + 2 charge, which is good. But if there's any oxidative stress, if there's any of these other factors, the charge is changed to a +3. When it has a +3, it can't bind to oxygen. It has to be reduced back to that +2. And when it's reduced back to the +2, it then binds to the oxygen and delivers the oxygen. Guess what? Glutathione is the only reduction agent for hemoglobin. So there you have it. But listen, what does it all mean to you? Raising your glutathione levels changes everything. Everything. It's like an iceberg, okay? Now, an iceberg, the top 10% is above the surface. That's what you see. 90% of the volume of the iceberg is below the surface. Below the surface is all the critical things glutathione does. Above the surface are the things that can be seen, felt, and experienced. We call it stealth energy. You don't get a spike and a crash like you get out of an energy drink. Rather, it brings your energy level up to where it should be, and it holds it there for a sustained amount of time. So we call it stealth energy. You don't notice it, you just don't run down. So you go through your day mentally and physically feeling a lot better. That's one of the ones that's above. Now, if you work out, you take it 5 minutes before a workout and 5 minutes after the workout, and here's what you'll see. You will see increased muscle output, increased physical stamina, increased mental focus, and you will see an accelerated recovery. If this is your normal recovery rate without our product, with our product, you're recovered this fast. Takes this much time. And guess what? Same thing with horses. Woo! Wait till you see, when this study's published, we'll be able to share all the results. But it's amazing. And so I'm telling some of these points to our board member that is the Spanish sports medicine doctor. And I talked to him about the recovery with horses going from this to this. And nothing else in the world can do that, by the way. That's one of the shocking things about this study. Nothing even comes close. And he interrupts me again, not to be rude, but he was just so excited. That's what we see with athletes. Of course. And we've known that because all the athletes we work with tell us that their recovery times reduced typically by 60 to 80%. Same amount that horses see, by the way. Anyway, so that, for those who exercise, you can see that part of the pyramid. But let's talk about what you don't feel, what you don't see. You don't see the cellular protection. You don't see the protection or feel the protection of the mitochondrial DNA. That sucker breaks and mutates. Guess what? Now you feel all the bad stuff, and it might take your life. Right now, cancer is the #2 killer in America. The next 10 years, it'll become the #1 killer, and heart disease will become #2. Do you know what the #1 cause of heart disease is? 72% of all heart attacks in the United States are caused by inflammation. Inflammation. What produces inflammation? Memorize this: oxidative stress. What is the best mitigator in the world of oxidative stress? Glutathione. What's the best way to get glutathione? Well, right now, in my humble opinion, it only took 17 years, millions of dollars, a lot of my money and a lot of my shareholders' money, but we got there. And it's called Hydrostat, and nobody else in the world has Hydrostat. Nobody. But you do. You are my partners. You are my NUMMI family members. Can't do it without you. You guys are the ones in the trenches. We're going to just take a couple minutes and show you some pictures right now. Let's show the Bill Gillespie first. We'll do this. We'll do all this in 6 minutes. Here we go. Okay, so Bill Gillespie, when he was 49 years old, as an amateur, he set the Guinness Book of Records. He set the world championship for bench press. As a 49-year-old, now let's go to the chart. As a 49-year-old, you can see it when he was 49 years old. You see that number 804. That's around 380 to 400 kilos. He set that world record in 2008 as a 49-year-old. I called him in 2018, right after we had lab samples of this product. I said, "How you doing, Bill?" He said, "Not good." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Well, my bench press is in the tank. And he says, I can only lift about 725 pounds. And I used to lift heavy 4 times a week. My recovery takes so long, I can only lift heavy once a week. A lifetime of weightlifting has produced a lot of inflammation. So I wake up hurting. I hurt all day. And when I'm training the football team, because he's was a professional strength and conditioning coach for a professional football team and then a college football team. And he said, here I work 12 to 16 hours a day and I hurt every hour. I go to bed hurting, so I don't sleep well. And he says, my bench is down to 720 pounds, 725. And I said, well, I think everything's going to change. Told him about our product. He started on it, and look what happened. Now, that doesn't happen. As a 60-year-old, his bench press went from 725 to 1,050 pounds. Now, how does that happen when you're losing lean muscle? By the way, glutathione allows the body to produce more lean muscle. That's a fact. How could that happen? Well, he didn't hurt anymore. He started sleeping better, and his oxidative stress levels went way down. That means less inflammation. Guess what that means? More muscle building and better performance of the muscle cells and tissues. By the time he was 62, he set a new world record, 1,129 pounds, which is 512 kilos. And that doesn't happen. But that's the power of reducing oxidative stress. And you say, well, I'm not a weightlifter. No, but you have to perform every day. You get up out of bed. You have to perform physically and mentally. How well you perform is dependent, believe it or not, on your glutathione levels. And we have a way that you can increase not only glutathione in the cell, but the cellular production of glutathione and the cellular utilization of glutathione. All of that's amazing. Now, one of our athletes was breaking all of her personal records until she had a terrible fall during a 100-mile bike race, and she was hospitalized for 3.5 days. Her face was filled with abrasions and road rash, and the plastic surgeon said it would take 5 weeks for her face to clear. And guess what? She got home 3.5 days later, started using our product as a topical on cotton balls. And in 5 days, not 5 weeks, her face was completely clear. The plastic surgeon had never seen anything like it. I have owned 5 different skincare and makeup companies in my old business, and I had never seen anything like it. And when I saw that, I thought we may have the world's best skincare product. So we put it in some spray bottles, sent them out to a few people, and let's go look. This was the first before and after that came back. I told people, spray your face 5 times a day. I sent this to my former formulator who worked for the company that created Botox, and he was the head of research and development for that company. And he called me right away, literally within minutes, and said, Steve, she's had a facelift. There's no topical product in the world that can do this. Look what it did to her skin. It tightened it, it brightened it, it smoothed it. Look how much younger he said, there's nothing that can do that. Botox can't even do that. Look how it opened up her eyes. I said, John, she owns a farm, works a farm. She's never had a knife or a scalpel touch her face. And he goes, well, you got something nobody else has. We'll show you a few more before and afters, and then we'll be done. Okay, this was my hands. This is 2019. I was 71, a lot younger. So I sprayed my right hand, but I didn't spray my left hand. Look what happened. Pretty remarkable. Next. This is an 84-year-old. This was taken a year ago. And I asked her, how many times a day did you spray your face? That's remarkable. I mean, you can't even do that with cosmetic surgery. And she said, well, I lost count because I had bottles of the spray all over the house. And anytime I passed one, I real quick sprayed my face. It's like a mist. And she said, I did that for 4 weeks, and look at the before and after. That's remarkable. Next. This is another 84-year-old, not her. This one is the mother, I think, of one of our French associates. And that was 10 weeks. went from old lady legs to young lady legs. Now, she didn't think anything would change, but it changed it. Now, this is an esthetician in Miami, Florida. She owns her own skincare salon. She couldn't wait 8 weeks. That was sent to us after 8 days. She said, what happened to my pores? Look, they're gone. Look at how smooth my face is, how bright. Look how it's opened my eyes. She said, Steve, I've been an esthetician my whole adult life. There is nothing that can do this. Well, we do it. Next. Okay, this lady I love. That was 1 month. And once again, she's 60 years old. And that was after just 1 month. And it looks like she had a facelift. But look at the brightness, the tightening. Well, after 6 months, oh my gosh, we met her after 6 months. And we thought she was about 40, 42, maybe 45, but that would be the oldest. She was 60. Next, we'll look at just a couple more. There you go. Next. This guy's 67. That was 6 weeks. Look at that. Night and day. Next. Okay, good. 10 days. She's young, but look how it evened out her skin tone. That's what you strive for with makeup. And it's hard to achieve with makeup, but look at that. That's no makeup. That's just spraying her skin 4 or 5 times a day for 10 days. Next. 80-year-old in 3 weeks. Next. This is, I believe she was around 65. She'd been a smoker. Look at her neck. Look at her mouth. 8 weeks. Unbelievable. Next. Okay, next. I like this one. This is a woman in Nigeria. Her daughter's a doctor and gave her the product, and that was 4 weeks. Next. Next. Okay, this one is our last one. He's 94 years old. Look at the before picture. And I love what he said. He said, I like my new look. Can you imagine a 94-year-old saying, I like my new look? But what I like best is I feel like the guy on the right, not the guy on the left. He's discovered the joy of living a life with less oxidative stress, even at 94. Okay, back to me. Well, that wraps up today. Now, next week, we're going to be on the Diamond Retreat. So next Thursday, we won't be making this call, but we will the following Thursday. So you have 2 weeks from today to alert your friends, neighbors, get them on this call. And we do this call. And by the way, so many of you I've seen on every call now for 3 years. And number one, I love the connection more than anything. It reminds me of our NUMMI family. We are a family. We're not a business with a lot of distributors. We're a family. So that reminds me of that, our wonderful connection. But more important, you get to learn. And don't ever try to be a scientist. We have brochures. We have videos. You can hand those out from our app. You can send them to somebody and it'll even tell you when they're watching it. But for your own benefit, you get to learn these wonderful facts. And a lot of times I talk about the human brain, the human heart, the eye. Last time, and I'll close with this because I love it. I just read up on this one recently. But your eye has trillions of cells from the moment it's formed, trillions of cells. And they overlap. They don't overlap like this perfectly. They overlap like this. And this, a trillion cells. Think of the pile. If they don't line up perfectly, you're born blind. And guess what? They're sequential. They are put in there in a sequence this fast. From the time that eye is formed. You are a miracle. You are trillions of miracles and you don't even know it. What a designer. God bless you all. Pray for us this week. Please continue to pray for the victims of the hurricane. It's horrendous. Thankfully, there were less lives cost than what people imagined. Terrible destruction in our southern states. Thank you for your prayers. For those of you that have been praying for my wife, she had a hip replacement 2 weeks ago today, and she is slowly recovering. It's a 12-week recovery. It's not fast, but she has no pain. And she makes a little more progress each day. Today, I actually watched her take steps without a walker, like from the kitchen counter to the other kitchen counter and back. So she's making progress. Folks, she won't be on the Diamond Retreat this year because of that. But I will be there because she has a couple girlfriends that are going to come and take my place as the care coach. And thank you for praying for her. And her name is Shannon. For those of you that don't know, feel free to pray for Shannon's continued recovery. God bless you. We love you. And we're always here to be your family members and to serve you as best as we can. Thanks so much. We'll see you next. Keith, back to you.
All right. What another great night. Thank you so much, Steve. And of course, 100% Shannon is in all of our prayers for a speedy and continued recovery. The southern states, the Carolinas, Florida just got banged with another crazy weather system. We pray, and not just for them, but for everybody around the entire world that's experiencing something at these weird times that we're living in, right? Definitely praying for all the Diamonds and the corporate team that's traveling for the cruise trip. And one thing for sure is every single person is called. I can't wait to see each and every one of you on that same trip next year if you're not going. So y'all have a great rest of your week. Circumstances have not, Jamie and I had to make different plans this year. We're not going to be on that Diamond trip. I will be hosting. I will be carrying the torch for all of the events next week and the week after. So just so everyone knows, Tuesday night, we're still going to have the opportunity call. I'll be your host. Wednesday night, we're going to have a members night call. We got an amazing thing lined up. And Thursday night, even though Steve's not going to be live, I'm going to be playing a recording of one of Steve's events. So we can still invite. But the following Thursday, Steve will be live back from the Caribbean, North Caribbean. All right. Great call tonight, Steve. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
everyone.
for what you do.
Y'all have a great week.
Thank you, Christy, for co-hosting. I know she had to run to the airport.
Yes.
But we're grateful. God bless you all. And it's so good to see everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.